The Tibetan Plateau has always been a magnetic place for me. I've been coming to this part of the world for the last 12 years to climb and document its beautiful and unique culture and landscapes. At its epicenter is Everest, a mountain that I have a history with like no other. It's one that's tested my limits in every way. It's a place of extremes. My first attempt on the mountain resulted in a medical evacuation. I returned several years later to push through to the summit successfully. This year marks my most ambitious attempt to climb a route that's never been climbed before, without the use of oxygen. Like every trip here, Lhasa is the first stop and a part of the expedition I always look forward to. And this year, I get to share the experience with one of my very best friends, Keith Ladzinski.
I've known Cory for well over a decade. He's one of a kind. Our friendship's been full of adventure to extreme places. This is my first time to the Tibetan Plateau, and I could not be more excited. I couldn't think of a more fitting way to experience this place than with Cory. You can see and hear his love for the culture and beauty here and how animatedly he talks about it. I'm here to film and photograph the expedition alongside Cory. The logistics and physical demand here are really extreme, and it's why we chose the Nikon Z system as our camera of choice. One of my favorite features of the camera when photographing people is the silent photography mode. The sound of the shutter can often be just enough to break the mood of a scene. This feature allows true discretion.
Lhasa is a holy city to Buddhism, home to the Potala Palace, which dates back to the 1600s. We were fortunate enough to be here during the Sagadawa festival. It's a time when people from around the region and world pour in, and the sound of prayers and celebration ring through the streets. Using face detection and auto-area autofocus lock on the Z6 has allowed me to lock in on any subject quickly and with precision. As much as I'd like to stay here, our time is limited. The next 3 days will be spent making our way to Everest, climbing higher in elevation with every passing mile, winding further and further up and over the Pang La until we reach base camp.
Seeing Everest for the first time was a surreal experience for me. It's something I've wanted to see my entire life. As we settled into base camp, we were eager to stretch our legs and take in the thin air. We hiked to an old monastery that had been destroyed, but there was a cave with some old artifacts inside. It was lit entirely by candlelight, so high ISO was mandatory. Being able to film and shoot photos at 16,000 ISO at such high quality is a total game changer.
Working at high altitudes is always a challenge, and every ounce matters. The Z system is considerably lighter than any other camera I've worked with. I never want to miss a moment, so having a lightweight camera that's easily accessible on approach and on the mountain is an absolute must. Working conditions here can be volatile. Blue skies can turn into a snowstorm quickly, and my camera has to be able to handle this kind of abuse. The weather sealing on the Z6 handled these conditions effortlessly.
At this altitude, the sun is harsh, and the reflected light throughout the landscape midday is bright. Being able to film, shoot photos, and review all within the camera's EVF allowed me to block out all that light. I'm constantly switching between photo and video, and the ergonomics of the camera allow me to do this without pulling my eye away from the viewfinder. The valleys here are vast, and the surrounding peaks are massive. The 14-30 was the perfect lens for capturing these expansive areas. It was also great for working with an intimate range of people, yaks, and prayer flags. It's unbelievably light, which is a theme I'm loving about the Z system in a whole.
Doing a new route on Everest is littered with ambiguous question marks. The mountain is one big maze of couloirs and cliffed-out dead ends. A mistaken turn could cost you your life, and it's something you simply can't afford. Every ounce matters. That's why I'm taking the Z6 with the 14-30 f4 with me. This is the most ambitious alpine objective I've ever done in my life. Leaving the comforts of an advanced base camp is tough. The sheer gravity of our objective weighs on me with every step we take further up the mountain as we enter into the unknown. The higher we get, the more laborious each swing of the axe and kick of the feet becomes. We just radioed in for a weather report, and honestly, things look grim. The jet stream has shifted and is moving towards the top of the mountain, closing our window of opportunity. In light of this, we have no choice but to make the hard decision and turn around. To do this means we leave the dream on hold for another season. I won't lie, it's absolutely heartbreaking. But another year only means more time to train, prepare, and contemplate this incredible line up the most special mountain in the world.